Hello and welcome to the Oily Crafter YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Greg Medore. My call sign is Alpha India 5 Hotel Victor. And today we'll be covering updating the firmware on the AnyTone 578UVIIIPlus radio. So the first thing you're probably wondering is okay, how do I know which version of this radio that I have? Well, when I open up this reference document here, you notice it has kind of a features, if you will, of the different radios. And notice right here under the 578UV+ and UV3+, it says black and silver. And on the Pro it does not. So what I want to show you is okay, here's a picture. This is a picture of the UV3 Pro. There is no outline of a silver screen around this box, around that window there. So when I look back here, and this is on the radio, back where the power comes into the radio right here, GPS antenna hooks in here, you'll notice it will tell you which version is it. This is the picture for the UV3 Pro. Here is the label for the UV3 Plus. And if I look at the front screen, you see this silver square right here? Well, that silver square right there tells me, refers to this black and silver. So I looked at the label, I see the UV3 Plus, and I see that silver box around the screen. That lets me know for sure that I am exactly where I need to be. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here to the bridgecomsystems.com site. And Ron has developed a great team there. They help you with pre-sales, walk you through the sales process, through the purchase process. They can you can buy a plug-and-play package, and they can get that all set up for you. But Ron's done a great job of putting a good team together there. So we're going to come down here to support, and under support what we're going to do is we're going to, right here, AnyTone 578V2. We're going to click right there, and the latest version we're going to get is this guy right here, CPS 121 Firmware 2.08. Notice that's downloading right there. And so what we have done is I have gone in and I have already unzipped all those files here, and this file that we're looking at right here, that file there is actually this file right here in the path right here. So alright, so what we're going to do next is we're actually, before we start doing anything, and it's kind of up to you what you want to do, but let's assume for a minute that you want to update, you want to keep your code plug that you already have. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go through the settings on this radio because we want to document what the settings are before we get started here. I'm going to go to menu here, go to settings, go to device info. And I'm actually using my wife's radio here. I've already updated mine, but I do want to go through and I want to document this information here. And I'm actually we'll actually go through and we will make sure that we have this written down for reference for later. And you just want to make sure that, again, make sure you've got that documented. It will help you out later. So the other thing that we want to do is we want to come back here. We're going to come back here to the CPS software, and we're on the older version there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a set COM, and you will need to know that COM software by when you hook up the micro USB cable right over here on the side. You bring up Device Manager and it will show you COM4. So what we've selected COM4 here, we're going to say Program, and we're going to say Read from Radio. And this will go rather quickly, but again, you want to have a code plug so that of what's in your radio, so that if you need to put it, you want to put it back, you can. So there you go. This is a quite old code plug, so I'm probably not going to use this when I rewrite it to the radio. But what I do want to do is I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to say this is 117, and this is for my wife Judy, and we're going to put today's date. Okay, so the next step that we need to do is we need to make sure that we have the 578 UV version 1.21 CPS software installed. So we're going to double click this, open up that folder, and we're going to double click this setup.exe. I'm going to say yes right here. I'm going to say yes, next, next. We can close that. We're going to tell it to retry. Now you may need to, you may see a blue screen where you have to click on more and then say run anyway. So if that's the case, be sure and do that. Now we're going to hit finish, and we're actually going to launch. So there's our software there that we've launched, and notice this is the new version of 1.21 right there. Okay, so we're going to back up. All right, so we are ready to start the firmware instructions here. Okay. Need to resize my window here. Give me just 1 second. Okay. So right here we power the radio on. Okay. Then we're going to press and hold the menu and the exit button right there. And what we're going to do is, as you can see right here in this screen here, you can see a non-relevant message, but with those, holding those, we're going to power the radio off. So again, the exit button over here, the menu button over here, and then we're going to power the radio off. Notice you see the red light flashing. So what that tells us is, you can see right there, red light is now blinking. So at this point we are ready to, we're going to launch this software, the CPS software right here. Trying to make this smaller here so we can try and get all that stuff here on the screen. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to check the COM port. We're still on COM 4, so we're right here. We're going to go to Tools, Firmware Update. Tools, Firmware Update. And we're going to hit OK. And this message right here in this window is the same message that they have right here. So if it doesn't launch, if we don't see this screen, then we have to go browse to the window. And so notice we've got this little blue shield down here. We can hit yes. Alrighty. So now we need to go open the update file. Okay. Again, this is the firmware that we are doing here. So right here we need to come in and find the firmware right here, D578UV2 version 208. Okay, and notice it said on my when I showed my information earlier, it said GD. So we're going to click on that one right there, and then we're going to hit open. Okay, file opened successfully. That's a good thing. So we're going to hit OK right here. And we're going to hit write. You can see you continue to have the light flashing throughout the process. Right now it's staying on solid, but just trying to walk you through each of these steps so that you can have a comfort level that you're following the process correctly there. So we'll just give that here just a minute. Okay, write is complete. We're going to click OK here, and we're going to click exit right here. Okay, so let's come on down here and let's see what this says. So we've opened that, we select write, and we're there. So now what we need to do is we need to do an MCU reboot. We're actually right here. And it says some users report the radio loses power during connection and firmware and unable to power on the radio. Okay, that didn't happen to us, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to power the radio back on. And notice at this point it still has whatever program, a code plug that was in there before, that's still in there. Okay, so now we are right here at this stage right here. So to reset, to do an MCU reboot, press and hold the two front panel keys, the P2 and the channel knob. Channel knob is this one right here, and you can see P2 over here. Okay? So press and hold those two keys while you're turning on the radio. So right now I'm going to turn the radio back off again, and you can see it. So press and hold this channel knob right here. Press and hold that. Press and hold the P2 key and turn the radio on. Okay? When I did that, it says confirm you want to initialize the radio. So menu right down here, that is confirm. Okay, so now we're at calibrate date. I'm in time zone of UTC -5 as we're on daylight savings time. Press the channel knob to advance. Change the year, 2025. We're in March, and today is the 29th, and the time is 15:31. Okay, and then we're going to hit menu down here for confirm. Okay, you can notice that the screen, it doesn't have the same display now when it powers on, because we've done an MCU reboot. So we've reset it back to the factory default setting. So what I do want to do is I want to come in here, and I'm going to come to menu, and it has that annoying beep on there. Settings, device info. Notice the radio ID, radio name, all that's blank. Okay. Notice the GD firmware is now at 2.08, which that's the version we expected it to be at. Last program date, that has changed as well. Right? So at this point, the APRS board, that information has not been updated yet. So for now, we're ready to stop this process, and then we will proceed on to the next step. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we are going to update the APRS and Bluetooth firmware for the 578 here. So we're going to open up that folder, and this document we have displayed over here, that's this guy right here. All right, so basically what it says is you don't know for sure. They had a couple different boards you saw due to a new chip that was used. So the one that we actually have here, based upon the age of when we purchased the radio, is we have the V2 and then in parentheses M. So what we do, this is for the 878. So we're down here on the 578. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to, it says we need to push and hold both the push key, the channel knob, and the P6, and then power the radio on. All right, so let's do this. Let's minimize this. Let's make this thing smaller so we can see what the heck we're doing. Hopefully you can still see that. We're going to power this off. Okay, it says press and hold the channel knob and the P6 key. P6 key is right down here, and the channel knob is right here. So we're going to press and hold those two, and we're going to power on the radio. Update mode for link board. And if we look at that, we can see right here, that's exactly where we are. So we're opening the program software, CPS, go to Tools, Firmware, and then we're going to go to the Bluetooth board. So here's our software again. We're going to Tool, Firmware Upgrade, hit OK right here. Okay, and notice our little shield down here at the bottom. We're going to hit yes. Okay, we're going to say Open Update File. Okay, now in this case, we're going to go back to that folder we were just in, this folder right here. And again, we're going to go to M. If you remember up here, the older one is version here is the M board here. Let me move this over out of the way. Is M. So update. M. Click on that guy right there. If we scroll down over here, see the name of that file there? Now these are older instructions. This is the newer updated file right here. We're going to say open right here. And we're still on COM4, and we're going to say write. Write is completed. And we're going to hit exit. Okay, so at this point, those settings have now been updated. So what we're going to do is we're going to power off the radio again. We're going to power the radio back on. Okay, kind of go down to menu. I'm going to go to settings, device info. And notice it says APRS version 2.0 or 2.00. Before that was at 1.04 is where that was at. All right, so we're gonna pause this segment here, and we will find the next segment that we want to update. Okay, so the next segment we want to do is, and this one is actually optional, this is to do an icon update for the 578. Notice this one here, it says not for the BTO1. By the way, we will not be covering the BTO1 in this video, but we will do a later video where we go through and update the BTO1. So we're going to double click this, and then we're going to come into here. We're going to open this info file here. Okay, and this is in Italian, so we're going to come down here to the bottom. All right, so in order to update that, what we're going to do is we are going to, it says 578, turn the radio on by pressing and holding the dial and P1. So we're going to power the radio back off again. Okay, so let me move all this stuff over here out of the way so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, so it says press and hold the dial button, that's the channel dial, that's this guy right here, and the P1 button. So we're going to press and hold those, and we're going to turn the radio on. Notice it says it's in update mode. Got it. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to do Tool, and we're going to do Firmware Upgrade. Click OK. Notice the little yellow shield comes up. You got to click on that and click Yes. So open the update file. So in this particular case, these are the icons again, not for the BTO1. Click on that icon and the SBI file. Click on Open. Click OK. COM4. Hit Write. All right, write is complete. We're going to click OK. We're going to click Exit. And notice it still shows update mode, etc. here. So, but at this point we are good based upon what we saw there on the screen. We're going to hit power off. Then we're going to turn the power back on again. All right, so the next one is this baseband, and to be candid, the instructions here, it talks about the instructions, and I do want to show these to you. So in this particular case, the baseband that I have, they don't update this very often. Version 201.07BF. Let's come back over here to Settings. I'm going to minimize this. We're going to go to Menu, Settings, Device Info, and we're looking for the baseband, SCT. 3258 version 2.01.07BF. Well, that's exactly the version we have here, so that means I don't need to perform that. Now, should you need to perform that, it does tell you that you have to have the most current setup SCT port MSI. So if I needed to do that, I would click here. I can literally uninstall the software Here's my SCT port. I would have to uninstall this, and then I would have to reinstall using this MSI file. You also have to install Net Framework 2.0. Here's the link right here for you to download it from Microsoft and install it. Okay, here's the screens that you would go through. Platform SCT 3258. All right. And then you would come down here to Tools and Config. You would select the proper COM port right here. You would do from SCT port, you would select Flash Update. And then right here in the Browse tool, you would go and you would select this .hex file is what you would select that. You would initialize the port, said initialize port successful, and then you would flash the update button. In this case, mine is already up to date, and I don't need to do that, so it's likely yours may be that way as well. But again, you're in the settings there, you're looking for the SCT version 201.07BF. So if yours is that way, it's already up to date and you don't need to do anything with it. So at this point now, I am ready to move on to the next step, which is to put the code plug in there and then make sure that the code plug is working correctly. So I will stop in this segment and we'll get ready for the next segment. Alright, so in this next segment, what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a code plug back into this radio so that we can do some testing. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier is I did do a backup of the code plug. However, that's a very old code plug and I needed to do some work on updating the code plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a code plug that I have for my radio. I'll put it in her radio and my wife's radio. I will test it and I will make sure that everything works, and then I will go through and I will change out her call sign, her DMR ID, etc. in the radio to ensure that everything is working successfully. So let's do that. So I'm going to hit open right here, and then I'm going to scroll down through here. I have a 578 3 Plus version 121. That's the one I need right there. I'm going to click that one and I'm going to hit open. Now, because this is an RDT file, it does have the most recent version of DMR IDs, etc. in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to go ahead and write all that to the radio. Notice I have lost my COM port. So in order to remedy that situation, right over here is where that USB micro USB is plugged in. So I can either unplug it there and plug it back in, or I can pick it up at the where it plugs in the computer at. But just so you can see it, I'm going to unplug this. Then we're going to plug it back in. Okay. Notice COM4 came back. We're going to hit OK. We're going to say Program. We're going to say Write to Radio. We're going to hit OK. Other data. Just hit OK there. Okay, that radio is going to reboot. It will come up with my name and call sign on it instead of my wife's. But that's okay. Okay. Now, for the purposes of this, I'm actually going to disable the sub channel, and I'm also going to come in here on the menu, and I'm going to change the zone, and I'm going to come down here to hotspot. I'm going to select that zone. Okay, I must have put that channel at the end of it. Okay, there's Oklahoma East. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this, and I'm going to make sure that that everything is set correctly. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here to Digital Radio ID List. Now this is where, once I get done with my test, I will need to put my wife's information in there. Right? Then under optional settings, I'm just going to double check and see under key function, I do have hotkey listed here, and this is important. I'll show you why later. And then hotkey over here, we have PC 4000 group call. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring bring this window over here, so I can see that window in my browser, and I'm going to key up the radio. Notice it's got my call sign and 31402. Come over here to Brandmeister. It shows that I successfully have validated that I'm checked in here. This is Alpha India 5 Hotel Victor monitoring Oklahoma East Talk Group 31402. You notice it shows up here in Brandmeister, so I know I'm getting out. Shows up here in my hotspot dashboard. That all that seems to be working just fine. Now, that hotkey a while ago, if you recall, in the optional settings here, under key function, I had hotkey 1 set to long press P5. Okay, so if I come over here and I do a long press on P5, watch what happens. That means 4000, the disconnect channel, is selected. It doesn't mean that it has actually disconnected me. You can see from right here, but if I press and hold the microphone, now it shows disconnected. Come back over here to Brandmeister, it shows disconnected here. What that does is, by programming that button and that hotkey, is you no longer have to go through and find a disconnect channel that's defined in your code plug to be able to disconnect from that current talk group. So that's where the hotkey and stuff that comes in really handy for you to be able to do that. Be able to disconnect from your from a current channel, as an example. So again, I think we've shown now where the repeater ID, everything seems to be working okay. We are going to come down to a zone, and we're going to pick up just pick up the NOAA weather channel here.
The 70s, cloudy, West Arkansas.
NOAA 7 works best here by location.
Area at greatest risk, northeast Oklahoma. Heavy rain. Risk limited. Area northeast Oklahoma.
I'm switching to an analog repeater. This is Alpha India 5 Hotel Victor monitoring 14691 repeater. As you can see, things seem to be working quite well. So at this point, I would call the firmware upgrade, I would call that a complete success. So I'm not going to walk you through the part where you go in and change the repeater ID or the DMR ID and the name and stuff like that in the radio, but I did want to point that part out specifically where you would change that in the setting. So with that, I will say thank you for watching our video today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. And if you like the content, please like our channel and subscribe, and that would definitely help us out. We appreciate you so much. I want to thank you for watching our video today. Again, my name is Dr. Greg Medore, Alpha India 5 Hotel Victor, and with the Oily Crafter, and we would like to thank you for watching and hope you have a wonderful and blessed day today. Thank you.